Hey, welcome back. Today we are going to do a quick-ish walkthrough of Honeybook and all of the features that I feel are super important that a lot of people don't know about, or a just quick overview to make sure you are using Honeybook to the best of its abilities. First, we're going to dive into the behind the scenes of Honeybook and different settings that you need to know about before we look at what Honeybook looks like on the client end, and then I show you what is in all of the Honeybook projects. So first off, this is the main screen that you have when you come into Honeybook. Here you've got your projects. This part here, these two new inquiries, these will be any projects that you have not responded to yet. So this is a good thing to know. If you see any projects here, you have not sent them any emails yet. Projects with new activity. If you have something here like this, it means that you need to go in and countersign. I need to countersign this contract. Any new emails or payments will also show up here. You've got your calendar here, which you can go to, and I have my Google Calendar link. I can turn it on and off so that I can see just my projects that I have in Honeybook, and then also see my full calendar here. You've got bookkeeping here. You can see payment stuff, tasks. This is where if you have any tasks due, if you have workflows or you're adding them manually, you can go into here to see them quickly. And then your reports, you can see all different kinds of reports, which you can also get to through here. Projects, this is how you get to your full project space. Your contacts, if you want to connect with Google, you can, or you can just have, these contacts can just be your current or past projects. And then your tools, this is kind of how you get to the main features of Honeybook and all the different parts you will use. Before we dive into this, I want to first go into here and show you some of the settings behind the scenes of Honeybook to know about. So when you're in here and you click on my account, it's going to take you to this screen first, and then you can get to company here, which is more your settings. You can also click here to get to the same button that's right there. So we're going to start talking here first. First things first, this photo here, I highly suggest this be a photo of you and any team members that you add an account for. I also suggest you have them put their actual email in there, so that way they know who they're talking to. You have your logo here, which will be on certain things, but this is your actual account. So let them know. It helps to make things more personal, and they know exactly who they're talking to. Your account information here. You've got password here. And then if you go down, you're going to have your security phone number. If you set up the two-step login, that's going to be here. And if you go down further, you're going to see payment information. I'm obviously not going to go down that far for security reasons, but that is on your My Account screen. If you go to company, we're going to dive into some of the preferences. This here is going to be used on some of your files. I actually usually take it out of my files because I'm not a huge fan of how it looks. But if you want to have all these things auto-populate into like your invoices and contracts and things, you can set that up with how you want it. For like your phone number, if you don't want your clients to have your phone number, then you can leave that out. You can put your website in here and it will link to that. You've also have, this is your business name, and then your name is going to auto-populate here because it's your account. Here you've got your logos. This is it is your main logo that shows up most of the time. Your default header image, this is going to be the image that shows up right here on all of your projects by default. You can go in and change those for each project if you want something specific, but having that, just knowing that that image will auto-populate to your project header is a good thing to know, so you can decide what image you want that to be. Your company theme, this is for your smart files. So anything that you're changing in here, just know it's for your smart files. One thing I will point, you've got your email signature here. You can create a really, really nice signature with Honeybook. You can link to things here about your company. You can add a little bit more in here, and then you can also link to different social media accounts through here. And then we're going to go into preferences. So these three things here, they may not seem important, but they really are. Lead sources, this is where you're getting your leads from. Keep this short and simple, but also detailed enough that when you're pulling reports, you can see where you should be spending more time and energy. Say your project details here. This is what shows up here in your projects. So there are certain things that are automatically here, like your project name, your project type, the date and location, and this about the project are always in your project details. You can add your own custom details into the project details area. So there are certain things that are visible and not visible to the client. So just know that these are visible. If you want to add extra details to the project, one thing to note is that you will manually go in and add those details into the project. These 4 questions here can automatically be added into the project details based off of questions that you ask in your contact form or questionnaires. Anything that you add has to be added in manually by yourself. So maybe you want to have one for vendors and you just write all the vendors down, or maybe there's specific vendors that you want to know about and you can add in photographer. And then you can add in wedding planner and keep going. So you can add in the details, whatever details that you want to be able to quickly find about your clients. And then this area down here is your notes, and it is private. It is always in the project details. You cannot remove it, but just know that it is always private and your clients cannot see the notes. Your project types. Keeping this short and sweet is actually very nice for yourself and for your workflows. Your company notifications. So this is emails that the Honeybook is going to send to you to remind you of certain things. You can turn these on and off, and you can also change how long that Honeybook waits to send you that email. And then notification center here, this is going to be this here. You can change what you're getting notified on. If you don't want to get notified by anything, you can turn those all off. Or if there's certain things you want to get notified for, you can. Action. So these are automatic emails that can be sent to your client. This is a generic questionnaire that's going to go out to every single client and project that you have. I shouldn't say client, every single project that you have in Honeybook. You cannot change this based off of the type of project they have. Just know that. A lot of people I see in the Honeybook group will say, this questionnaire keeps going out and I have no idea why. And that is because it is what it does. So you can change this to weeks or months. You can pick the questionnaire that is going out and the email that it goes out with. But again, I don't know any business that really just has one type of project that they want a questionnaire to go to everybody. This is a good one. Send a reminder if they haven't viewed the smart file. Maybe they forgot to open it, or maybe they opened the email and forgot to open the file. We'll send them automatically, and you can change how quickly the email goes out, and you can also the email that is being sent, you can actually change this in your email template area under my templates. This option here to send a smart file to my client 3 weeks before the project starts, again, same thing as a questionnaire. It's going to go out to every single project that you have in Honeybook. You cannot pick which clients these go to. However, you can change the type of smart file and when it goes out and the email that is sent with it. And then expire legacy proposals and invoices 1 week after they're sent. So this is for the old school proposals and invoices. In smart files, you actually do that when you're creating the template. But if you're still using legacy files, I do suggest having this turned on. Because if you send a client a proposal, say they're like, I'm ready to book, and you send them that proposal with the invoice and contract, and then you don't hear back from them for a month, and you've sent them follow-ups and they haven't responded at all, so you've moved on and you're booking with another client. If you don't have this proposal expire, that client that you originally sent this to could go in and all of a sudden pay and sign, even though you might have already booked another wedding on their date because you never heard back from them. So having this turned on is super important to avoid that happening. You obviously could just, you would have proof that you've let them know that that date's no longer available, but it's also just, it could create problems for yourself and for your clients. And so having this on is super important. Payment reminders. These are going to be messages that go out to your clients about upcoming and outstanding payments. Default name format. This is for your smart files and templates so that it's how it's going to be named in your project to help you quickly find the file you need, and also for your clients as well. And then this display smart file thumbnail images to clients within projects. You can turn this on if you want clients to see a thumbnail. I'll show you what it looks like now. I have it turned off, but in the files option, if the clients are getting into their projects, these are all legacy files, old school. So the smart files, if you want them to have a little thumbnail picture next to it, then you can turn that on and you'll have a picture there if you feel like that is necessary for you. And that is everything in the preferences. Next up is your domain and client portal. So if you are sending clients a link to get to their portal, having this set up and branded can be super important and super nice for your clients. Your integrations here, this is where you're going to connect your email. You can connect QuickBooks, your social accounts. This Facebook, this is just if you want to log in and out with Facebook. Zapier is an amazing system that can connect other platforms to Honeybook that may not integrate. So it's more of a third-party system that will connect your accounts together. I use this to connect Honeybook to project management systems so that it will automatically add projects into there. I also use this to connect to Gmail, or not Gmail, but Google Drive, so that if I have a file where I'm tracking new leads or new inquiries in a more deeper overview than what Honeybook will give me, you can have it automatically add things to your Google Sheet. And there's so many other systems and connections that you can create with Zapier. But this is how you're going to connect your Honeybook to the Zapier so that it can then connect to another account. Facebook leads integration. This is if you're doing Facebook ads. Honeybook Chrome extension for Gmail. This is an amazing extension. What it will do is if you get a lot of email inquiries, it will help a couple clicks of a button and you can add the project to Honeybook automatically so that you are no longer having to manually transfer people over. Zoom integration, if you are doing Zoom meetings and having clients schedule them, this is super important to make sure you have that connected. And then Calendly, if you are using Calendly and not using Honeybook Scheduler, connecting your Calendly directly to Honeybook will actually allow for any Calendly appointments that are set up with the same email as the Honeybook account is created with. It will put that meeting into their project so that everything is in one place and you can see it easily. Your team, this is your, if you add anybody to your team, just know everybody that you add, they get a free account. You're not paying for adding these clients or these teammates. You can have different roles. They can have different access levels. And if you have teams, I highly suggest you create them all their own email address and that you have them set up their own Honeybook if they need to be in Honeybook seeing client projects instead of having to have them manually, or you have to manually send them details about the project. Company data, this is just for you. Emails and team calendars, these are optional settings. You can allow everybody to see everyone's projects and dates that are booked, or you can turn that off. And then these are emails that will be sent to you to let you know of things happening in projects. And then your bank details, that is how you get paid. So now let's look at projects and some of the settings surrounding that. So you get to your projects from clicking here. And this is your pipeline. Think about this as the big steps to take your client from inquiry to the end of your contract, a completed project. So this is customizable and you can customize that here. The things that have this little lock button, you cannot take away. So those are going to automatically be here. You can add your own stages and you can move them in between those locked those locked parts of the pipeline, but you just can't take away these steps. After you've added to your pipeline, you're going to click Save and Exit. Some things to know about the pipeline. Whenever anybody inquires with you, so when they have submitted their contact form, it's going to go here. Once you have responded to their email, it goes to follow-up. When you send a timeline or a smart file that includes a contract or invoice, it's going to go into this part here. Once they've signed their contract, it goes here, retainer paid here. Obviously, those two are those are obvious. After they have paid their retainer, they do not move from here unless you manually move them. So going from inquiry to retainer paid can all be done automatically. You can't turn that off. You can't change that. It just happens. So once they get to retainer paid, you have to manually move them to any other steps. So if you have not added anything to your pipeline, it's going to go from contract signed to planning to completed. So once they've signed their contract, you can move them over to planning. Once your project is completed, you can move it here. Archiving a project, this does not do anything or change anything unless you have a invoice that they still need to pay. So do not move a project to archived until all invoices have been paid. What I usually advise my clients to do is at the end of the year, once you have fully completed every step of your contract with your client, something else you could do is you could leave them incompleted until you have sent them the feedback or testimonial links, and that could be how you know, okay, I've sent that to them, time to archive them. They are fully complete. So a couple options there, but just know if you archive a project, you can bring it back. You're still going to get emails from them. So there is nothing that really happens unless you have an invoice or they have an invoice to pay. Here you can see all of your teammates and you can switch their pipeline views so they can have different pipeline views than you do. And now let's look at a project. So this is the project screen from the business side. You can change your banner photo so you can upload different ones or pick from your library. You can change the project name by clicking here, and then this is the type of project that you have, project is labeled, and then the date will be here. Participants that are in the project are going to show up here. You can add more by clicking there. If you are adding team members to the project, you are going to do that here. You can schedule for them. So this is using any of your sessions or certain appointments that you have set up, calendar set up for. This upload here would be if you're going to upload a picture or a PDF for them. Just know if you upload here, it's not going to alert them, but it will go under here, under files. You have attachments and images. That's where that would show up, but it is not going to email them to let you know or let them know you've uploaded anything. If you send them a attachment, a PDF, or an image in an email, that will attach and show up. That will show up here as well. So it's a little bit better to attach it to an email, but if you just want to have something in there for them, you can do that through the upload here. Create new. This is how you can send them any of your smart files or legacy files. You can do that through this create new right here. Here is your project pipeline. It looks a little bit different if you have upgraded to smart files and you have sent them. So any smart files that you have sent are going to show up here. Recent activity is going to show any payments they've made, completed files. Emails are also going to show up here. If their project was created by them submitting a contact form, you're going to see all the answers to their contact form here. And just all of the emails back and forth between you and the client are going to also be here. Here is where you can send a new email. If you are sending a file such as a legacy or smart file, questionnaire, anything of the sort, you're going to do that by clicking here. You can schedule an email to go out here. So for my wedding professionals who need to schedule meetings with clients, this is what I usually suggest doing. So, for example, my photographers, when they schedule an engagement session, I suggest scheduling it here so that it is connected to their project. However, you cannot set up customized reminder emails to go out, and you cannot set up an automation from this scheduled date, the date you want to keep as the wedding day. So I suggest as soon as you schedule that engagement session, you come in here and you type out your email first. So engagement session reminder, and you type out your email, whatever you want to tell them. Typically, this is something that's going to go out maybe the week of, and then 3 days before, or the day before, whatever your typical schedule is. You're going to type out your email here, and then you're going to click schedule send, and you can click to these automatic times, and then you can also do a custom date and time and schedule that for as early as you want. This also goes for my bakers and my caterers for tastings, my makeup artist for any trials or previews that you have, my wedding venues and wedding planners, any walkthroughs or meetings that you need to set up that you are not related to Zoom or anything of the sort. Then using this schedule send option is a great way to have that email go out automatically, and you don't have to remember to do it. All right, so now we're going to go down this side here, this only visible to you options. Here you've got a few things you can do. You can reschedule the project, you can add a workspace, refer to another vendor, or assign to a team member. This is different than just adding a team member. This is going to assign them as the main owner of the project. If you want your clients to be able to log into their client portal at any time, you need to make sure that you click here and send them a link to their portal. If you have the bride and the groom in here, or maybe you work with multiple people and you want them all to have it, you have the link, you can do that by clicking here and selecting who you want it to send it to, and that's going to allow them to set up a password, and they can sign in through this link here, which will also be included in the email, at any time to see any of the files that are uploaded into your client portal or into their client portal. Here you can move the stage, so that's that pipeline that we set up that we saw before we came in to look at the project. You can also take it off of your pipeline, so this doesn't archive it, it just won't be tracked on your pipeline. Lead source, super important, like I talked about earlier, to track where your leads are coming from. So you've got your notes here. These are only viewable for you, so this is really good if you have multiple meetings with a client, to just take your notes right in here. Or if you have multiple team members who need to be able to come in and access things for the project, adding notes in here and important things to know. So that way everything is connected in one place. Like I said earlier, additional team members, they can be added right here. Time tracker, if you need to track time for any reason, you can do that through this time tracker option here. You can also create invoices from that. Your tasks, so this is related to automations, but you can also add tasks manually if you want to remind yourself to follow. Maybe they said follow up with me tomorrow, I'm busy right now. You can set yourself a reminder to do that. And then your automation here, if you are manually adding automations to a project, you can do that through that option there. Quick Apply will automatically assign this automation to the project, and it will send out anything that is set to go out as soon as the automation begins. Customize and Apply will allow you, I don't have a project date, so it's going to alert you if you don't have a project date. But this Customize and Apply will allow you to come in here and just change anything up before you click Apply to Project. And the final thing here are your related workspaces. This is a feature that not enough people know about in Honeybook, but it is such an amazing option to have. I use related workspaces for if I have a vendor that I need to talk to, but I don't necessarily want to bombard the wedding couple with all of the emails back and forth with them. This has also been used if there is a family member that is paying for your service for the wedding, but the wedding couple might not want them to be involved in the actual planning emails. You can create that invoice in a second related workspace that will still be connected to their project, but allows you to send that invoice to that family member, but then have conversations with the wedding couple separately. I also use this for team member communication. So if you need to discuss with team members things about this project, you can create a second workspace to do that. So you have different options here when you click on create. You've got a client workspace. The client workspace will be tracked in the pipeline just like this workspace. So you will basically have two different projects that have the same name, but when you click on them, it's going to take you to different project boards. Design brainstorming, team member, subcontractor, and vendor collaboration, those will not be tracked in your pipeline. So if you need to have discussions with your team member or vendors, this is a good place to do that. Same thing with the invoice. You don't necessarily want that to be tracked on your pipeline because you just want to be tracking the actual wedding project. A time when you might do a client workspace, I have done this for the engagement session. Just know you cannot change the date. So if you create a new client workspace, you're going to add everybody that you want to the project just like you would have when you first created this project. And then you can actually add an automation into here. You can send emails. It's like I said, it looks just like the original workspace, but you can add different participants. And if you wanted to do a second project to track in your pipeline for engagement photos, maybe you want to maybe you track where you are in the editing process and getting it back to them. You could do a client workspace and that would be tracked on your pipeline. So when we come into projects now, you're going to see this here. So we've got two Honeybook 101. So it basically is adding another project to my workspace. You will see here, these do not track on pipelines. Those are the ones those are my design brainstorming, team member or subcontractor collaboration, or vendor collaborations. The last few things that we have to look at in the project for the business's view is your files. Here, your legacy files will pop up first, and then it'll go into your smart files. And then, like I said earlier, if you send any attachments or images will be here. Next, you have a way to quickly view any payments that are due. You will also be able to view that here through their smart files or legacy files, depending on which ones you're using. But this is just a quick way to get to those specific files. And then finally is your details. So this is, we talked at the beginning of the video when we were looking at the company settings about the project details and those options that you could add that were customized. Like I added vendors here. So that is where these things are going to pop up. So your project name, project type, date, and location, those are all going to be here no matter what. So you can also, I told you earlier, you could change the name by clicking there, but you can also do that here. This is where you're going to change the project type. So if you want it to be labeled as something specific, you can do that here. Your project date is going to be done right there, and that will pop up there. This availability here, if you want to be able to schedule multiple things in your calendar, if you are using a scheduling link, you need to make sure you change this to free. But also, if people keep double booking you and you're using a scheduling link and you cannot figure out why your scheduling, whether you use Honeybook or Calendly or Acuity, is letting people schedule stuff when you have a project or something booked that day, make sure you are actually marking it as busy. And this is the same thing when you're in your Google Calendar as well. You can mark yourself as busy or available. And so just make sure that that is happening if you keep getting double booked. Just something to know. Project address. Here you can add a second date to your project. Just know this doesn't really do anything other than maybe just have it linked here so you can quickly come in here and see all the dates related to this wedding. So if you are scheduling multiple appointments, maybe when they first book or shortly after they book, and you want to have them all here so that you can just come in and look, maybe you're updating your calendar, you can do that by adding things here, dates here. But this will not allow any automations to go off of this date and will not send out any reminder emails or anything of the sort. About the project, just know that this is viewable to the client. And then again, like I said, private details, these are all private to you. Now let's look at what Honeybook looks like on the client's end. So this is one of my test projects that I've created so that I can show you guys what it looks like from the client side. So when they are in their email, this is obviously just, I didn't write anything in this email, but I basically went from here to get started, and then they have this option here to go to projects. So just know that even if you are not sending your clients the login information, they can still get into the project. This is what you are naming the project, the type of project that it is, and this would be the project date. They can see what participants are in their project. So if you're adding teammates, it might be good, or it is good, to explain to your clients who all is in their project so that they don't come here and see, 5 or 6 people and they're like, who are all these people that can view my payment information? Here, this is where they can send an email reply. If you would like your clients to reply here, I would create a video and ask them to do that. Create a walkthrough video showing them how to do that. Honeybook is getting better at connecting your Gmail to Honeybook so that if they email through a response through Gmail, it will connect here, but it's not seamless and sometimes it doesn't happen. They can attach things through here, but they can also upload things here. So if you have a client or if you are a business where you need your client to upload inspiration images, or you need them to upload any documents to you, teaching them how to do it through here, through a walkthrough video, using a loom, doing that through here and showing them how to do it. They can also, when they attach anything, a PDF, an image to an email, it's going to upload into Honeybook as well. Recommendations: every time that a client books you, they're going to be able to ask for recommendations. You can have preferred vendors that you recommend to them, or my better recommendation is in your welcome guide, having some vendors that you recommend they use. In the new Smart Files update, this is the very beginning above your recent activity or your emails. If you have not activated Smart Files on your Honeybook yet, you're not going to see this here, but this is basically all of the files and Smart Files that they need to interact with and submit. And then underneath that here, you're going to see any of the emails sent. There's not a lot of emails here because, like I said, this is a test project for me, so there's not a lot of communication I'm doing with myself. But any emails back and forth between you and your clients should show up here. And then at the very bottom here it's not going to be on this one because I created this workspace, but if they inquire through an inquiry, their original inquiry form that they submitted and all of their answers are going to be at the very bottom here. And then in the files, this is again going to be all of the files again that you have sent to them. Any attachments, so that's anything that they attach to an email, is going to be here. PDFs, and then images are going to be here. That will also be anything that is uploaded through the upload option will also be there. Payments, this is going to be where they can access their payments, their invoices. And then details, this is going to be very limited. I hope that after watching this video, you feel comfortable and confident in your Honeybook. If you are still feeling overwhelmed by everything that Honeybook can offer and you don't have the time to fully dive in and set everything up, a VIP day is exactly what you need in your business. My team and I will come in and we will make sure that your workflows are flawless, that your emails connect deeply with your clients, and that your brochures or smart files are fully branded, fully customized, and blow your clients away. We are scheduling consultations for January now. We are not doing any VIP days in December. So now's the time to schedule your consultation call so that you can take December off and focus on your family and know that come January, you are set up and ready to go and hit the ground running to get your business organized and streamlined for engagement season and then shortly after 2023's wedding season. Come back in 2 weeks where we do a walkthrough of ClickUp just like we just did with Honeybook and showing you the features and settings that ClickUp has to take your business to the next level. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any videos when they are posted, and join our mailing list where we are sending out even more business tips to help take your business to the next level so that you feel confident and can reach your business goals that you have been striving for years. I will catch you guys back here in a couple weeks.